Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be doing my best to explain what a shell is. So, if you want to talk to a computer, you need a keyboard or you need a mouse, right? So, those keyboard and mouse facilitates the communication between the human user and the computer. Well, okay, so you have the keyboard and mouse. Now you want to talk to the operating system, right? And by extension, the hardware. You want to talk to the computer directly, right? So I'm on Google Chromium, right? I'm on Chromium. And I'm talking to the computer in a way when I'm using Chromium. But I'm really talking to the Google Chrome program. Well, what if I want to talk to the operating system itself, right? What if I want to give a command not to a program in the computer, but to the computer itself? That's where the shell comes in, right? So the shell it's a funny concept. So in computing, a shell is a computer program which exposes an operating system services to a human user or other program. So the shell is a weird concept. It's a little hard. So we have several pictures here, and some of them are kind of they kind of show different things, right? So these are all basically um, representations of what a shell is. So a shell, in the plainest language, is acts as an interpreter between the human user and the operating system, right? The operating system, the kernel of Linux, runs on the coding language C. Well, a shell, unless you know the C programming language, right? Which then the C programming language is used to talk to the hardware, right? So unless you know the C programming language that the kernel actually runs on, then you want the shell because the shell acts as an interpreter between you and the actual operating system. So these are the notes on the shell. Let me crack it out here for you. What is a shell? The shell is a computer software program that acts as an interpreter between the human user and the operating system, or in Linux case, the Linux kernel. Is the shell a command line interface? Now, in a previous video, I went over what the command line interface is. Yes, the shell is a type of command line interface, right? So how we actually use the shell is through this, right? So I call this the terminal emulator, right? This is a program, right? This is called the terminal emulator. Well, the terminal emulator is actually running on top of the shell. I know that's kind of a funny concept, but basically, I can switch this terminal emulator out, and it's still talking to the same shell. Specifically, I'm using Bash, right? Excuse me. So I can switch the shell out. I can actually even switch the shell out, and I can actually switch the terminal emulator out. So these are two different parts of the software, right? So what we're doing right now, we're identifying the different parts of the software. So so the shell is a type of command line interface. What programs does the shell expose to the operating system for? This so in the Wikipedia definition, there's it exposes the yada 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 services to human user or other programs. Those other programs you can open up programs using the shell. You can use Python scripts and shell commands. For example, right here, ls. That's technically a program. lsblk. That's a program, right? I'm running a command. I'm actually running a program, a script. So I can actually, in fact, I can actually, if I wanted to, I could actually browse Reddit and other text-based things through the shell, right? Through the terminal. So I can actually, not only am I exposing the services of the operating system to another program through the shell, I can actually run a program through the shell. Interestingly enough, I haven't gotten there yet, but sooner or later, baby steps. Why was the shell invented? The shell was invented to input commands to the OS. In a nutshell, the shell exists as an effective, efficient, easy means to tell the computer, not the programs on the computer, not a program that you're running on the computer, but the computer itself, what to do. to give the computer easy and complex tasks that cannot be done conveniently or done otherwise. Why does the shell continue to be used today? The shell continues to be used today because it's the most efficient and effective way to enter precise commands, while the GUI, graphical user interface, we went over what that is, right? The GUI will not allow you to do common tasks. For certain other things, the GUI will not work. Also, if you use a text-based interface like the shell, you can automate things. It's much easier to automate a text-based task than to automate a GUI-based task. Why does the shell need to exist? Why does there need to be an interpreter between the operating system and the human user? Every OS has a shell. That includes Windows and Mac, because you need to interact with the operating system somehow. And in the shell's case, it interprets the text and commands of the human into something that the operating system can understand. In a nutshell, the computer doesn't understand human speech, and human beings do not understand machine readable code, and both need an interpreter. How does the shell expose the services of the operating system to another program? The shell exposes the services of the operating system to other programs in the form of programs like scripts, sometimes Python scripts, and when you execute commands and you execute a program through the shell. How does a shell open the services of an operating system? Oh, we just went over that, so that's a double. Oopsie daisy. Anyway, so I hope that gives you an idea of what the shell is. The shell is an important concept because it's what the terminal emulator is running off of. So we're going to go over the other commands and the other ideas and the other things that kind of are what the shell is, and you'll get a better understanding of it as time goes on. But yes, this is what the shell is. It's very important for the command line interface in Linux. And that's my little video for today. If you guys like these videos, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and help the channel out. Appreciate you. Bye.